Hello guys, another weekend project. In this particular project, I'm going to replace our existing garage doors. These are very old garage doors, and few of the panels are kind of a rotten, and these one are the mechanical garage doors with the spring on the side, conventional garage doors, and I'm going to replace these garage doors with a new garage door, and those are the CLOPAY 2050. These garage door comes in a box. So basically two garage doors in two boxes, four different panels and the hardware. It comes everything in one box, which is a good thing. Now first thing is that definitely when you are going to work on this particular project, you have to get yourself familiarized with all the components and all the parts of the garage door and which one you are going to replace. So this particular video is going to be detailed video where I'm going to replace the existing garage door with the CLOPAY 2050 garage door, and I'll try to cover each and every step so that there is no confusion, and it will give an idea that how a DIYer can replace a garage door without anyone's help. So I'm still debating whether I should start with this garage door or this garage door. It could be anyone. Most probably I'm going to start with this one because the timing could have not been bad, because as you see over there, this spring is broken, and I'm just thinking that why not start with this particular garage door only. So first thing first is that there are a couple of things. Before we dismantle the existing garage door, I want to get familiarized with all the parts of the new garage door. So as per the instructions, and I didn't open the box, I just browsing through the net and to see that what exactly it is, what steps are involved, and what they suggested that get familiarized with the each part of the garage door, and for that take out all the parts, lay down on the floor, mark them, and make sure that each and every part is available. There are no missing parts and anything, because you don't want to be in the situation where you start the project and then you got to know that some of the parts in the box are missing. And this particular garage door is 8 feet by 7 feet, and it is going to get replaced with this garage door. This one was not in, the original one was non-insulated garage door, whereas this particular garage door is the insulated garage door. So over here my plan is to remove each component or each part of the garage door from the box and arrange them pretty nicely over here, so that I know that what parts are required and what things are required. So let me come back, let me remove, arrange them over here, and show you that what parts it comes with. And as you see, inside the box, all the panels, hardware, everything has been very nicely packed using this plastic wrap. So I have to remove this plastic wrap to expose all the parts before I move them to the different location. And it's pretty nice packing. But yes, without removing this plastic wrap, I won't be able to arrange these parts the way I mentioned earlier. So let me do that part, and then probably we will have the access to each individual part of this panel. And I believe This particular box will have all the hardware and the remaining two panels at the bottom. So total four panels like this: one, two, three, and four garage door panels, and all the hardware in this box. So let me remove this box also and see that what parts we have in this box. All the panels are placed on the table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove uh, the hardware from this box and set up over here. And nothing much inside the box, as you see. So these are the tracks and these are the springs. So inside the box I see the hardware required for installation of this particular garage door, and the installation manual and maintenance and manual instruction booklet. And what I seen, I overviewed, not looked into the details, but it clearly shows that what is required and what parts it comes with. So I'm going to arrange all the parts included exactly in the same fashion the way it is shown over here, and then I'll start installation process. And looking at the manual, the first impression is really good. It is pretty good manual with each and every step is shown in details, so which is a good part. And then the springs and the rails are also in the box, so those are also I'm going to arrange over here. And since it is just like the door which I have, with two springs on both the sides and the rails for hanging the door, it is going to be pretty straightforward installation. So basically replacing the removing this old frame, old door, and all these rails and everything, and then install this new one with the new hardware and with the new door. So let's begin. And this is what I've done off camera. Basically removed all the parts and labeled them as per the instruction manual. And I've used the hardware box, to arrange all these hardware nicely and label them so that they are readily available. Like for example, this one, there are 52 hex head sheet metal screws, 4 by 5/8 inch, then 10 lakh screws, 2 carriage bolts, 2 flange nuts, and so on. I've removed only the package, the larger package in which all these components were there, or nuts and bolts were there, and I kept this one for later use, because these are required at later point, not in the initial stages. And in addition to this, I have also labeled all the other hardware parts very nicely. First is like this 2 long track brackets, then 2 short track brackets, 5 number 1 hinges. Now how to identify these number 1 hinges? On each hinge you will find some mark over here, 1 1 1. So that means this particular hinges are number 1 hinges. Remember that not all the hinges, even though they look same, they are not same. So these are same type of hinges, and they are called number 1 hinges, and this one is basically number 3 hinges. As you see, there is a 3 is written over here. So these are two number 3 hinges, two number 2 hinges, and so on for the other parts. Just arrange them very nicely and mark them so that it's very easy for you to it's handy for during the installation. Like here, 10 rollers, 2 cable accessories, 2 bottom brackets. Now this is one part which I was struggling, that where the heck two bottom brackets are there. But in fact, this comes in a one piece, and you have to separate them out by wiggling them over here. So this one is the left bottom bracket, and this one is the right bottom bracket. Other parts are pretty straightforward. Top bracket, inside step plate, interior side lock if you are planning to install, opener reinforcement bracket, then 4 shafts, then 2 sheave forks, extension springs, 2 horizontal curved tracks, and they are self-explanatory. These are curved, so they are horizontal curved tracks, and these are vertical tracks. Now all these parts are in place and they are ready to get assembled during the installation. I stacked all the panels on this table, but of course I'm not going to screw them in this fashion. I'm going to use only one panel at a time, and we are going to start with the bottom panel, and that bottom panel is going to be this one, which has a bottom separator or whatever it is called is, but we will go in details on that one. So now, since all the parts are identified and they are arranged, and also when you are labeling these parts, the advantage is that you will get familiar with all the parts, and then it's going to be very easy during the installation process. Now the next step which I'm going to do is I'm going to dismantle this off camera, basically remove all the old tracks, remove all the curved tracks, and remove all these hinges, right, over there, which are connecting all these panels. So the idea is basically make this area clean. So once that is done, then we will start the installation process one at a time. Hey guys, so I've removed the Rotan 2x4 from the right side, and I replaced with the new one, and as you see, both of them are now good and everything looks good. So now take this opportunity to fill up the holes. So over here I'm going to use the expanding foam to just fill up these holes or gaps, so that there is no way the air can leak from outside to inside once the door is in place. So I'm going to do this on the each side of this thing. Over here also, if you see, after there is a lot of gap is there, so I have to just make sure that this gap is filled up with the expanding foam, so that it will prevent air coming inside. And this is the gaps and cracks filler I'm using. This is reusable smart dispenser, and this has the pointed tip also, so it will fill up the gap like this, and it has a natural color. So once this is cured, it is going to show the wood kind of color. So yeah, this I am going to use it all over the garage door frame, so that it is permanently sealed. And as you see, all the cracks are filled up, and there is no way the air draft can come from these gaps in the wind when the wind is blowing. And over here also the gaps are filled up. Of course, this excessive foam I will cut off once it is cured, but the gaps are filled up. And same thing, I have done it on the other side also. So now, in a true manner, this particular framing structure is now ready for the first installation of the first panel. So as per the instruction, we have completed the first step, that is prepare the opening. All the jambs are plumbed, and the header is also plumbed. And as I have shown earlier, all these horizontal header and vertical jambs, they are kind of plumbed. And I have also filled up the cracks with the filler which I showed you earlier. And now this is ready for the first step. Now for the first step, what is required? So for the first step, we need 3 hinges, number 1 hinges, 2 bottom brackets, we need the cables, and we need 10 hexagonal headset metal screws. So these are the things which are required, and all this comes with the kit of the garage door. Now what else is also required is basically the wood shims and the common nails, 2 common nails, 3 inches common nails, and then of course the regular hardware. Now for this second step, we have to prepare and place the first bottom section. Now how to identify which one is the bottom section out of the 4 sections? The bottom section has this particular case, right? Aluminum weather. So this weather strip will allow you to identify the bottom section. So now for this section, what we are going to do is we are going to attach these bottom brackets on each side. So one bottom bracket will go on this side, and there are already the hole marks are there. One bottom bracket will go on this side, and the second bottom bracket will go on this side. Once this is done, then we have to install these 3 hinges on this section. So one hinge will go here, one hinge will go here, and one hinge will go here. I will show you that in a bit. So these are the things which are required. So let's prepare this one. Now as I mentioned earlier, I think when I was showing all the parts, bottom bracket are 2 bottom brackets are required. One is for the left side and one is for the right side. The only thing is that you are not going to see these 2 separate bottom brackets. This comes as a one piece, and this is what I was referring. So this one is the left bottom bracket and this one is the right bottom bracket, but this comes as one single piece. So you have to wiggle it and break it from here. So what we need is bottom bracket. So let's keep it here. So that is one part which is required, bottom bracket. Then we need number 1 hinges. How many? 3 hinges. So let's pick up those also. So these are number 1 hinges. So out of this I will pick up 3 hinges, and just make sure that these are number 1 hinges. How you can identify number 1 hinges? They are marked number 1, number 1, number 1, and that's how I know that these are the number 1 hinges. And then we need 10 hexagonal head-shaped metal screws and 2 cable assemblies. So this is the cable assembly. I'll keep it over here, and I need metal screws. How many? 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Once you have all this available, then now we are ready to attach this bottom bracket on the left and right side of this particular section. And then I will show you how to use the shim to level this particular section on the garage door opening. So I am breaking this bottom bracket, which comes as a one single piece. So just wiggle it and you will see that it will fall apart. And as you see, this came out. So this one is the right side bottom bracket, and this one is the left side, and they are marked with L and R on both the sides. Now how it will go, as I shown you earlier, one bracket will go on this side. So this is a weather strip and this is the first bottom bracket. So this is a weather strip and this is the first bottom bracket, and it will go like this on the first one. And you have to make sure that here you are going to attach the cable. So, and this is the two screws will be attached over here. So that is the first one, and the same thing you have to do it for the second one. So the second one will go over here. Of course I will remove this protective cover like this, and the second one will go like this. So just align it from the bottom and you are good to go. So that is the second bottom bracket. Then you have to use the 3 hinges. These are the 3 hinges. They will go over here. So first hinge will go over here, then the second, and then the third. I will show you that in a bit. So let me get the screwdriver, and then we will attach this shelf tabs. Now while installing this bottom bracket, you have to make sure that you engage these safety tabs. Now if you check this bottom bracket, I am showing you the right side bottom bracket. This is the right side bottom bracket. You will see that there is some kind of a projections are there over here. So these are the safety tabs which you have to engage before attaching it to the panel. So let me show you how they goes. So as you see over here, there is a hole, 2 holes are there, and they are kind of a self-locking. So when you attach this bottom bracket like this, you have to make sure that these projected tabs goes inside these holes and they gets engaged. So that's how it is going to be very tight. So and it is going to hold the load of the entire garage door. So make sure that they goes inside these holes. You have to press it little bit. Once pressed, then they will slide, and then you have to screw using the metal screws. So I have engaged those safety tabs, and as you see, they are inside those holes, and because of that, even though I'm going to use the metal screws, but now it won't come out. So that's how you know that they are engaged. And now you have to just use the 2 metal screws over here, one and the second one over here, to attach this particular right one, and then we have to repeat the same process for the second one. Attach the bottom brackets. and as you see, this one is very nicely attached to this section using these two metal screws. Now let me repeat the same step for the other side. Now for this side also, you have to make sure that this projections or safety tabs go inside these holes and they get locked the way we did it for the right side one. So just maneuver it, and if you press it, it will go, and you will hear the click sound. And that's it. And now you attach the metal screws over here. And how to make sure that those safety tabs are inside these holes or not. Once they are clicked, you try to pull this one, it won't come out because it got engaged with this entire section using that safety tab. Now only thing what you have to do is use two metal screws to make it permanent. Left side bracket is in place and right side bracket is in place. Now we have to attach the hinges. Now let me show you what is the right way of attaching these hinges to the section. So if you look carefully, all these hinges, these are the number 1 hinges, as you should see. Now on one side of the hinge they have 2 holes, on the other side there are 3 holes. Now if you look carefully, page number 8, the hinges orientation is basically 2 holes is going to be like this. So this is going to be like this. You have to attach like this and not like this. Okay. So we have to just match these 2 holes and attach it. So 2 holes, one is going to go on this section and it is clearly shown over here. So 2 metal screws over here, then same thing I have to repeat, 2 metal screws over here, right, and 2 metal screws on the left side. So total 6 metal screws, and we have all these 3 hinges are going to be in place. So I'm done with 2 hinges, and the third one also I have to do the same thing for the third hinge over here. Now we are done with the second step also. So all the 3 hinges are in place, and now basically we are going to carry this entire section and place it on the garage frame like this, and we have to make sure that this particular part, this entire section is leveled using the leveler. This is very important step, as it says that step 2.5 is the most important step to ensure your door is level. 2.5 and 2.5 is
Basically, place bottom section in the opening, stop molding center side to side. Place a level on section, use a wood shim under one end if necessary. So this is very important step. So I'm going to carry this entire section and place it near the door frame and see that whether it is leveled or not. If not, then we'll use some wood shims to make it level. And as you see, the first panel is in place, or first section is in place, and I've attached the nails after leveling it to make sure that it is not going to move. So same thing is on this side also. I've done the same thing. So now it is not going to move and it is going to stay nicely. Now just to show you how it is level, so if you see over here, it's level nicely. So you have to make sure that this first piece or first section is nicely leveled on the ground, and then rest of the things are going to be pretty straightforward. Remember the cable which we removed, so that you have to loop through each side, one on the left side, and this is the loop, and it basically goes into this particular groove, nothing much. It goes very easily, and just let it sit like this, because we are going to pass this entire cable as we progresses through the other sections. So right now it is just going to stay on the ground just like this. And now we will move to the next step. So for step number 3, you need one door panel, that is this section. So it doesn't matter which one you are picking up, you can pick up any section. I'm using this section as a number 2 section for the installation, and for this you need 2 number 2 hinges. So number 2 hinge, one will go here on the right side on top, and the second number 2 hinge will go on the left side, and the center one is the number 1 hinge. I'm not sure why the instruction says little different, but that's how it is. Number 2 hinge on each corner and center as number 1 hinge, and the groove should be at the bottom. So this entire panel will rest on the first section as is, and then we have to attach the number 1 hinges of section 1 on this number 2 hinge, number 2 section over here, 1, 2 and 3. I will show you that in a bit, but that is how it is going. Okay, so now again the number 14, this metal screws, sheet metal screws, they will go here. The orientation of these hinges is like this. Wherever the 2 holes are there, that is going to rest on this one. So it is pretty straightforward. We are repeating the steps. Make sure they are straight. So one is done. Then we'll repeat the same step for the other one also. And the same thing for this screw also. And now we are ready with the second section. This entire second section will rest on the section number 1, and then we have to attach these hinges, and we have to repeat the same step, that anchor nail over here so that it rests on the frame of the body, frame of the garage door. Rest on the section 1, and now I am going to use the metal screws to attach them and use the nail to anchor them over here. And now the third will go on top of this one. So basically we have to just repeat the steps for third section and the fourth section. Now for the third and the middle section also we have to repeat the same step. The only difference between the previous step and this step is that instead of number 2 hinges on the side, on the edges, on the right and left, we have to use the number 3 hinges. And center one is still number 1 hinge. So over here, now it is number 3 hinge. Center one is number 1 hinge. And last one is number 3 hinge. And once it is done, then again we have to stack it on section 1 and 2 on the existing one and anchor it with the nail. Now for the fourth top section, we need 2 top brackets, and as you see these are the 2 top brackets. Then we need the reinforcement bracket which we'll attach later on, and the cotter pin ring also, that also will attach later on. So basically this is the fourth section as you see, and in this fourth section I have placed this bracket like this, and remember you have to leave 3 quarter inch space over here from the top, and then only you have to attach this bracket. So the 3 screws will, metal screws will go here, 1, 2 and 3, and the same thing you have to repeat over here, 1, 2 and 3. Make sure that this particular one is at the bottom, the one with the larger hole, that is at the bottom, and that is also shown here if you see like this. And the 3 quarter inch which I was referring is this one over here. So let me attach these 3 brackets using the metal screws, and then we are ready for installing the fourth section. And as you see, all the 4 sections are in place. Now I'll start working on the rails, vertical rails, but this is how it looks right now. So one thing I forgot, and that one is this center reinforcement bracket. I forgot to attach this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this one too. So it will go like this, match these 2 holes, and this one will go, this will use the 2 screws of the hinge, center hinge. So once that is done, then we are done with the fourth section. Somehow I missed this particular part. This is what I was referring, the center reinforcement. This I missed out while installing the fourth section. So let me do that one, and once that is done, we'll move to the assembly of rollers. That is step number 5, which is going to be pretty straightforward. And this is how the reinforcement looks. And next step is basically the rollers. So let's pick up all the rollers, 10 rollers. And the step which we are going to do is this one. Step number 5, assembly rollers. And basically all these rollers will go through each of the hinge. As you see over here, at the bottom it will go through here, over here, and so on. Okay, while installing these rollers, I realized that this particular bracket I've installed incorrectly. It should have been other way around. So this should be bottom, and this roller should be a roller socket should be on the top. So I have to just flip it around. So let me do that one, and then we can install the rollers. So the orientation of the bracket is corrected. The roller should be like this. For the second one, the roller should be on the bottom one, not the top one. Same thing with this one here also, and the last one. So the rollers are in place, and now we are going to work on the vertical rails. That is, these are the vertical rails. So for number 6 step, assembly of the vertical track, you need 2 flange brackets, 2 short track brackets, 2 long track brackets, 2 vertical tracks, and track bolts and lag screws. So I have shown you earlier, these are the vertical tracks, and these vertical tracks are not marked with right or left, but the flange brackets are marked with right and left. So I'm showing you here the one which is the right one. You have to attach these screws, and then the long track bracket in the center and the short track bracket at the bottom, and then this entire assembly will go on the side of the garage door out. So basically I have to just repeat the same step for the left one also, and then we have to, before tightening, we have to make sure that they are plumbed, and use these lag screws to attach them to the garage door sides. I will show you that in a bit. Let me set up the left one, and then we'll go for setting up the vertical tracks. Okay, so left and right tracks are in place, and now we are going to go to the garage door and assemble these vertical tracks. So for that you have to pass these rollers through the tracks and just attach the vertical one, and place this track into the position. Once these tracks are in position and those are plumbed, we have to use the lag screws to make them permanent on the 2x4 of the side of the garage door. So for step number 7, we need horizontal track, curved horizontal track. So these are the curved horizontal track. This is one, and this is second, and each one of them are marked with the left and right. So here, if I don't know whether you could see, there is a L mark, that is left, and the other one is obviously the right one. And you need the horizontal angles. These are the horizontal angle, two horizontal angles. This I am going to attach at the later on. And you need the 2 carriage bolts and 2 flange nuts, but these are the bigger one. So let me show you, these are the bigger one, carriage and flange nuts. And then 8 track bolts and flange nuts. So these are track bolts and flange nuts. So these are 8 track bolts and flange nuts. So I'm going to attach this curved tracks onto the vertical tracks using these flange nuts, and then attach this bolt on the ceiling. So let me show you that in a bit. So far we have already completed the vertical side, vertical track, and vertical track on this side also. And now we are going to attach the curved track on this side. Same thing on this one also. Yeah. Now in this step we are going to attach the horizontal angle, these two horizontal angle. One will go on the left side and one will go on the right side, and we have to attach them to the curved track using the 2 carriage bolt. These are the 2 carriage bolt we are going to use it, and these are the nuts and bolts, and 1 carriage bolt is required. The track bolt is this one. So using this one, I'm going to attach this horizontal angle onto the curved track, and once it is attached, it will look something like this. So you have to attach like this, and this 2 carriage bolt will go here and 1 track bolt will go over here. So let me show you how exactly it has been attached, because I have already completed the part for the left side horizontal angle, and this one is going to go on the right side. So I'll show you that also in a bit, but let me show you how exactly it has been done for the left side one. And this is how it has been attached to the left side one over here. Make sure the head of the bolt is from the on the inside. I have not yet screwed them, and that's why they are still coming out, but once I tighten them, they will be flushing with the track. So this has been done on the left side, and the same thing I'm going to do it from the right side. So this is the right side. So let me show you in details on the right side that how exactly it will go on the right side. So this is the track and horizontal, and you have to just hold it like this, match the holes over here, use the carriage bolt and nut over here, and then one over here, and that's it. And make sure that this is horizontal and it matches with the horizontal track. Let me just hand tighten it and I will show you, because it's very difficult to show this using one hand. And this is how it looks on the right side, and this is on the left side. So now this particular door is done with the tracks installation and everything, and now we have to go for the next step, and that is spring installation. If you look at the manual, the next step after this horizontal track assembly is installing the lock. I am not going to install the lock right now, and I'm going to do it at later point, but this is the step. If you want, you can go ahead with the installation of the lock, but I'm going to just move to the next step, that is assembling the extension springs. And these are the stuff which is required for the spring installations. Like we need the sheave forks, sheaves, safety containment cables, hop adjustment clips, 2 S hooks, sheave bolts and flange nuts, black bushings, eye bolts, flange nuts, and so on. And all this is available, not all, this hardware is available in this bag, and the bag number is 5283347. I'm going to remove this everything from this bag and going to arrange over on the table the way it has been arranged over here. Few of the things which are required are already we identified in the original box. So these are the three things which from the original box. And of course this one, the interior side lock, I'm not going to use it right now. So these are the things which is going to be required. And then this is the cable, accessible cable, and all those things, right? So we will go over all these things in a bit. So let me remove all these components and arrange them on the table so that we can start assembling the extension springs. And here are the parts which are required, and they are arranged in the same fashion over here. So 2 sleeve forks over here, 4 shafts, adjustment clips, S hooks, then sheave bolts, flange nuts, black bushings, 5x16 eye bolts, flange nuts, and 2 springs. As you see over here, everything is exactly arranged in the same fashion. And of course safety containment cable. So these are 2 of them. They are currently tied together, and this is how it looks right now, the setup. Now how it is going to work. So we are going to use 2 sheaves per side. So first one, second one, then the sheave fork will go, they will be attached to this particular sheave, then the spring will be passed through this particular sheave fork, and then the other will be attached to the eye bolt. And this is a safety spring which will go through this spring. Now the actual step starts over here, and as you see, they have also, the documentation is very good, means like if you are going through this, everything has been covered very nicely. So first we are going to start with step number 1, and it says that on the floor assembly each spring unit, spring sheave forks, and so on, right? So basically you have to arrange on floor something like this, that is 1 sheave, then sheave fork, and attach that using the this particular sheave bolt, okay? And this particular this spring will pass through this sheave fork. Then once that step is done, then the second step is attaching the second sheave to the horizontal adjustment bar which we just installed. That is the second step. Third step is going to be attaching the eye bolt. Once that eye bolt is done, then we are done with the first part, right? And then we are getting ready for the assembling this entire spring on the channel. And for that you have to go through this assemble extension springs, right? What needs to be done. We'll go over all these steps, and ultimately the final goal is reaching to this particular point using something like this. So let me set up the 2 sides like this for each spring, and then also attach the second sheave on the horizontal adjustment bar and the eye bolt. Once that is done, I will go for the next step. And I'm going to do this all off camera because nothing much is there. It is pretty straightforward. And whatever the assembled part is going to be there, by showing that you will get an idea that how exactly it has to be done and assembled like figure 9a. And the sheave and the springs are attached. As you see, the sheave is going through this spring, and then it has been attached using this nut and bolt, and this bushing will go on this side, right, just like this. So similarly this one is also in place. So both the springs are in place the way they are required, because this bushing is required because the wire, safety wire or cable, is going to pass through this one, these bushings. So that is one part is done. Then the eye bolts are also attached. So if you see over here, this is the eye bolt attached over here, on the both the sides. So the eye bolt is attached. Now let me show you the orientation of the eye bolt. The eye bolt is going to go something like this. So in between this there is a channel. So the two nuts are bolts are going to be like this. So I have already attached this eye bolt over here in this using the same fashion, and then the other set of sheaves is 4 inches from the wall. So it is like this on this side as well as on this side. So theoretically now we are ready to lift our entire garage door first time. Now as per the instructions, you need for these steps sawhorses and C-clamps, and then using the sawhorses and C-clamps you have to lift the garage door and put the clamp over here. Now in my case, I already have the garage door opener installed because I'm replacing the new existing garage door. So I'm just thinking that instead of using the sawhorses to lift the garage door and put it underneath the garage door, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this bar on the fulcrum over there, this fulcrum over there, and use the motor to lift the garage door. So that is what my plan is. Once the garage door is halfway, then I will install the spring on this side as well as spring on this side. So this way no sawhorses or the clamp is required in this case, and then we have to adjust it. Let me see how I can do that one, but for that first I have to connect this bar over here so that when I run the motor I will be able to shift it out, shift the garage door first time after the installation. Okay, this is what I've done. I passed this lifting cable behind this channel, okay, this entire channel, and it is all the way going through the fixed pulley over here, if you see, and this one we are going to attach it to the spring. So basically it is behind the channel, and as it will this will allow to lift the garage door. So I have done the same thing on this side also. It is a well, just remember it has to be behind these clamps. So it is somewhere over here. If I tighten it out, you will see it is behind the clamps, and it is over the fixed pulley. And now in addition to this, I have also attached these springs in these eye bolts, the one which we prepared earlier, just like this. And this is the moving pulley, and same thing has been done on the other side. So now what is going to happen is that if you see in my old door, the lifting cable is going to pass through that pulley, that is the moving pulley, and then you have to attach it or fix it somewhere over there. Now in the new door, it is going to be in similar fashion. This cable, which is the lifting cable, you have to attach it to the moving pulley somewhere over here. But for that, we have to lift this door all the way from here to here, and that is what it is said in the next step. So assemble extension springs. So for that, it says that you need the sawhorses and the C clamps. So I have the C clamps, but I don't have the sawhorses, so I'm going to use this table to lift the garage door and place it on the table itself. Then you need these hole adjustment clips and S-hooks. These are the S-hooks and hole adjustment clips. And then in the next step, we will be also requiring this safety cable. So that way I will open later. Now, the way it says that this portion also I showed you that the spring is attached to one of the eye bolt. So I've just shown you that one. Now we have to attach that spring eye bolt moving pulley all the way through this cable. But for that, we have to lift the door all the way till the top and then put the clamp over here at the top. And that is going to be a little challenging to lift the entire garage door all the way to the curve over here. Now as per this step, we have to lift the door 2 times. First is halfway using the sawhorses. I'm going to use the table. Earlier I was planning to use the motor, but I dropped the idea. And then once this step is done, then we will open it fully all the way to the top before connecting the springs over here. So this is going to be the second step when the door is fully open, and this is going to be the first step when the door is halfway open. And as I mentioned, I'm going to lift the door and slightly push this table underneath the door so that it is halfway open, and then make the adjustment or see that everything looks good before opening the door completely, and then use the clamps over there. I was actually planning to use this motor, but since the spring is not there, I don't want to damage the motor, and decided to lift the door the way it has been mentioned in the instructions. So yeah, this is the setup. Unfortunately, I don't have the horse saw which I can put underneath the door, so I'm going to use this table. Hopefully it is going to be this sturdy. And I was able to lift the garage door, and there are few instances where it got stuck and I have to adjust. I've adjusted them, like for example over here on this side it got stuck, so I adjusted this horizontal curved channel and the vertical channel using these adjustable screws. So you have to just loosen them, shift them as per your requirement, and then make sure that the roller moves smoothly. Now once this is in place, I've used the clamps over here so that the garage door doesn't come back and it stays like that. Now once this is done, now I'm going to attach the spring, and once that is done, I will lift the door first time using the motor to see that whether it works or not. And both the springs are in place. As you see, they're attached and tied over here like this, and they are going over the fixed pulley as well as the
moving pulley. The only thing which is pending is basically now the safety cable, which will go through that bushing which I showed you earlier, and that's it. Then I have to see that how it opens. Okay, so I have attached the safety wire also. This wire is required just in case if this spring breaks, then it won't fly all over the place, and it will be catch in that wire. So this is the safety wire. I'm not sure whether you could see it, but it is pretty straightforward. And I'm now going to remove these clamps and open the door using the motor. And here is how the safety wire is in place. It is going through this bushing, as you see over here, and inside the spring and tied to this particular base. The whole idea of this safety wire is basically because of the tension. If this spring breaks, it is not going to fly all around the breaks or snaps. It is not going to fly all over the place, and it will get caught in this wire, preventing the injuries or damage around the garage door. So that is very important. And now this particular garage door, garage door is done, and now I'm going to repeat the same process for the second garage door. Exactly same process, but new garage door. Now let me show you how smoothly it opens compared to the original garage door. And sorry about all the mess, because currently all the things are lying on the table. So I'm opening the new garage door. Still few minor adjustments are required. And now see the sound of the other one. It was not smooth like the new one. Now I'll close the new one. No rattling sound. It is going smoothly. With small minor adjustment, it will be more smoother compared to the one which currently we have. And here is the old one. Now next step is working on the second garage door. And finally both the doors are done and they came nice. I'll show you from inside as well as from the outside also, that's how exactly the door looks. These are CLOPAY 2050. The only thing which is pending in the entire process is basically now the weather shield. So I'll make a video of weather shield to show you that how exactly the weather shield should be installed on the door. So let me go outside and show you how exactly they looks from outside. And this is how it looks from the outside. And as you see, everything has been done except the weather shield, and that weather shield is going to go over here. So I'll make a video of that, how to install the weather shield and remove the unwanted gap and make sure that the air draft is not coming inside the garage. Thanks for watching.